Good day, everyone. Today we're looking at the CELPIP reading section number 1. We're going to break down an entire question together and do it as a team. There are 4 parts to the reading section and 1 unscored part. That additional unscored part is for survey purposes, but you still have to do it. Let's look at part 1 of the reading section. This will be a mostly informal or semi-formal communication style. You might be looking at an email between teams, correspondence, maybe a work email, something like that. But it is important to know the suggested steps and timing. So first of all, you're going to look at the email or the passage and identify what is it about? Who is the writer? Who are they writing to? What is the purpose of this message? That should only take you 30 seconds. Next, you're going to read the first set of questions and identify keywords. The format for the CELPIP exam is nice because you get to see the questions and the text at the same time. So you can scroll up and down and go back and look at it. You have to answer the questions in the right amount of time, and you cannot go back once the time is finished. So follow this format. Read question set 1 and identify keywords. Then once you're finished, go back, look at the answers or write down the answers for question 1. Then you do that again. Read question set 2, find the relevant information, and answer them. At the end, you can give yourself a few seconds to make sure you've answered every question. So let's do that today. This is our passage. It says, read the following message. Very simply, I want to identify who is the speaker. It's James Brandon. And who are they writing to? Mr. Meyer. Okay, what is it about? I will scan very quickly. Scanning just means I'm looking throughout the information. Skim reading is just quickly reading through it. Okay, I know they're reading about driving restrictions and the government department. Good. And I can see that throughout the article, he is not very happy. The department is proposing a single passenger restriction. There is simply no conclusive evidence. And I recognize the good intention, but I wonder, will it be actually effective? Okay, so I know that James is writing to Mr. Meyer about the driving restrictions in their city, or actually in their province, and he is not happy about it. Let's go to the questions. This is the first set of questions. We're looking at James Brandon. Who is he? Okay, who is James Brandon? The proposed rule will prohibit new drivers from carrying. Okay, so what is the new rule about? According to James, the rule proposes. Okay, what is James' take on the rule? If the proposed rule becomes a law, John. So I need to know, who is John? We haven't met this character yet. Again, we have John, and what are John's actions? Acted irresponsibly, didn't take any passengers, knows his responsibilities. Okay, so we're thinking about John and what is his role. James Brandt believes. Okay, so what is James Brandt's take? Right, so then we go back to the article and we're going to read quickly. So you can skim read, you're looking for the information. Question 1 said James Brandt James Brandt is a teenage driver, a driving instructor, a new driver's parent, or a novice driver. Now keep in mind, we're looking for the best option. Some of these might apply to many. So they might be multiple somewhat correct answers, but we're looking for the best answer. Let's go back to James. James, who are you? We have here the sentence that will give us the answer. My 16-year-old son, John, who recently got his novice driver's license. So James is the father of a son who just got his new license. Novice means new license. So he is a new driver's parent. Question 2. The proposed rule will prohibit new drivers from carrying more than one non family member, teenagers as passengers, non family members as passengers, or other new drivers as passengers. Okay, so we're looking for the new rules. This sentence gives us the answer. Again, I'm skim reading. You may need to take a few minutes to read at your own pace. It says, your department is proposing a single passenger restriction, so one passenger, that allows novice drivers to have one passenger. This is important. Unless the passengers are immediate family members. So they can have one non family member or multiple family members in the car. So the proposed rule will prohibit new drivers from carrying more than one non family member passenger. Question 3. According to James, the proposed rule may reduce accidents by the new driver, is based on a careful study of the facts, is unfair for the parents of new drivers, or may increase the risk of accidents. Now, we already know that James is against this new rule. So we could understand that he's going to propose something different. So let's take a look. This sentence here gives us the answer. Because most novice drivers are teenager, the proposal for the one passenger rule will lead to more inexperienced teenagers driving on the road. So he thinks that it is unsafe. So he thinks it may increase the risk of accidents. As you can see, without fully reading the article, we've already answered 4 questions just by looking at key information. This is an essential tip. You must be familiar with skimming and scanning. When you are skim reading, you are quickly looking throughout the whole text, looking for the general meaning. Who are the main characters? What are they requesting? When you are scanning, you're looking for specific information. So be sure that you can quickly look at the question, identify what is it asking you, and find that information within the passage. Now, this was only 4 questions, 3 questions throughout the whole test. You will have plenty more. There's 2 sets of questions, the first and the second, and it gets increasingly more difficult. So make sure you take these tips into account. You want to be sure to answer all of the questions as possible. If you have time, you could then go back and double check your questions. But it's important to at least make an attempt for all of the questions. You won't get penalized for wrong answers or missed answers, but you should do your best to answer all of the questions. You can take notes on a pen and paper. You won't be able to highlight on the computer. So have a strategy for yourself to take notes and write down key information. The good thing is you can scroll up and down. You can go back to the text and then go back to the questions. So you're able to read the questions repeatedly. You don't have to memorize information. So don't think about memorizing. Think about scanning and skimming the text. If you find this information helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel. HZad Education is here twice a week, every week, to give you more tips on CELPIP and IELTS examination. Thank you. I'm Scott from HZad Education, and I'll see you in the next video.